Hey everyone, welcome back to NDC. Today we're going to be diving into AsyncImage, a SwiftUI view designed to fetch and display remote images with minimal code. In this video, we're going to create a very basic app that pulls images from a public API and displays them beautifully. First, let's go ahead and set up a new project. If you want to add this to an existing one, always feel free to do so. I'm going to call this one AsyncImage example. SwiftUI, language Swift. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, to get started, I'm actually just going to take our content view, get rid of the placeholders, and I'm going to create a navigation view, add a brace here, and then I'm actually going to reference a new view that we're going to be creating in just a couple of seconds. I'm going to say async image view. Add the navigation title. So it'll just be, async test. All right, we're going to get an error because that does not exist. So let's go ahead and create it. So we're gonna hit the plus button here, new file from template, SwiftUI view. Let's call it async image view. So we're gonna be using this to grab images from a public API. If you want to actually use the same API I'm using, you can head on over to picsum.photos. I'm also going to put the link in the description. And this is like your lorem ipsum of pictures. Essentially, there is some guides on how to use these, but we can actually just go to the photos and then add a number. So if we did the 300 right here, you'll see that we just have a photo and it's 300 by 300. This is going to be random photo every single time. So if we do 300 again, it's gonna be another random photo that's 300 by 300. So you can see on the website, there are the instructions, even if you want a different width and height. So in the case of 300 by 200, right, and we can see that the aspect ratio has changed. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. And what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of our text hello world, and we're actually going to make a constant at the very top here. So I'm going to say let image URL equals URL, and we're going to put the string within brackets. And here I'm just going to do our Picsum /300. So let's go here. We'll do Picsum photo /300. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to put it into our string. Make sure we have our quotation marks around this, of course. It is a string after all. And then right outside the brackets, we're going to use an exclamation point. Let's go ahead and now create a VStack down here. And we're going to say async image. Then we're going to pass through the URL. And this is just going to be our image URL. After this, we're going to add a brace. And we're going to say phase with a PH in, and now we're going to create a switch called phase, add a brace. We're going to create a case for when it's empty. So the first case is going to be .empty. We're going to add a colon here. So we'll have a progress view. So this is going to basically show a loading spinner while fetching. And then I'm going to have another case here, and this is going to be .success. And from here, we're going to say let image colon image. And this is where we can actually change how that image looks. So let's go ahead and make it resizable. Scale to fit. These are typically the ones that I do. We'll do the frame. In this case, we'll do 300 by 300. That's what we're grabbing from the lorem ipsum website anyways. So let's go ahead and do our width. 300, height. Also 300. We also add some corner radius. Fans of the channel know I love a good corner radius. Then we'll do the case for if it's failed to load. So we'll do .failure. We're actually going to not have anything within those brackets. And here we're going to just put a fallback image. It doesn't work. Maybe we haven't loaded. You can either choose to do some text. It's even suggesting here loading image. I'm actually just going to use the exclamation triangle icon that's usually used for, something went wrong. Let's go ahead and do that image and a system name. And it's exclamation mark dot triangle. And let's go ahead and copy our kind of styling here. And I'm just going to do this one about 100 by 100 instead. This is kind of smaller. You can even add some text, error, whatever you want to do. I'm going to set the foreground color to be red. It's foreground style dot red. Next, we're going to do a @ unknown space default and we're just going to empty the view. All right, at the end of this async image here, we're going to add a frame. I'm going to set this to also be 300, so width 300, height 300. We'll then add some text. So for this frame, text, scroll up here so it's easier to see. And we'll do random image from Picsum.photo. Sure, why not? Apple Intelligence, I'll listen. Font, and we can add our headline. So font.headline. Add some padding as well. Oh, okay. So we actually don't want to have the parentheses after failure. I think that's actually causing us to have an issue. Okay, sorry about that. So on the case of failure, you're actually not going to have any parentheses. My apologies. So we can see every time we load, we have a random picture from Picsum.photos, which is pretty cool. Every time we kind of refresh it. If you want to refresh it, you can do Command Option P, and that should refresh. So if we kind of make this a little bit bigger here, we can do that, and we can see when it's loading, we have the progress bar, and then eventually we get a photo. We haven't had a failure yet, so we haven't been able to see that red exclamation point. Let's go ahead and give it an invalid URL. So I'm just going to do photos.invalid, right? This shouldn't work at all. So if we do Command Option P, we have our little caution sign that does appear on the screen. Pretty cool stuff there. And something I actually wanted to test out is if I grab a URL from Discord of somebody's cat. Let's go back into Xcode. Let's try this image URL. Let's go ahead and refresh it. And we can see that the image from Discord does display. We're just using the Picsum because there's like a random warm ipsum of photos. But as long as we're connected to the internet, we can grab any photo we want. All right, let's reset it back to normal. So we have our loading case. While fetching the image, we're showing the progress view. We have our case for success. So once the image has loaded, we're then scaling it, we're attaching it to the frame. And when there's failure, we have that exclamation point. You can replace this with whatever you'd like, but this is a way that we can grab and use Async Image to use images from a server, from a website URL, whatever we need. All right, let's go ahead and update our app design just a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and reclaim some space here so our code looks a little bit cleaner. And what we're going to do is in our let image URL, we're going to change this to be URLs. I'm just doing this totally because I think, important to be accurate. And we're going to have this now equal an array. And let's grab a few different URLs from Picsum. So let's go back over here. We'll grab the 300 one. Wrap that as a string. Use a comma to separate them. Comma. And paste that one as well. So something that we can actually do from the website is actually grab certain ones with an ID. So if we look here, we can have the photo ID at the start of the URL. So let's go ahead and go back into Xcode, and right here we'll do ID slash, I don't know, what's a cool number, 127, and then we'll do 300, so it's the size. Let's go ahead and grab this again. What's another cool number? 555. I don't even know if they go up that high on this website. And then we'll do 205. You can use whatever ID you want. You could even do like 123. And we're just going to need to update this, and we're going to actually use a ForEach instead. So under the VStack here, where we have our async image, right before that, we're going to say ForEach, and then we'll say image URLs, comma, ID, :/.self, add a brace here, URL in. We're gonna have to take this brace here and we're gonna put it all the way down here. And then we're gonna also update to this to be URL to URL within the async image. Go to our array here, we'll do .compact map. Then we'll do URL.init. Alrighty, we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and run our app, and we should have three. Oh, one of them did produce an error. I'm wondering if it's the 555. If that one might be too high. Let's try 100 on that one. No, we're still getting an error on one of those. Let's double check. Maybe it's the 105. Let's try 10. Okay, apparently 105. It didn't like that one. But we can kind of see that we now have 3 images on the screen. We might even want to kind of reduce the height so that they fit a little bit better. But this is how we can have a dynamic list of items being pulled from an API, which is pretty cool. If we want to wrap these in a scroll view for even better usability, let's go ahead and take that VStack, put it in a scroll view, and now we can kind of move around. And you can see if we wanted to add a whole bunch of these photos and scroll through them, we totally could. So why not? Let's go ahead and add a comma here. Change this to be like, 9 or something. Now load, we should have 4 images, and we can scroll through these. So we've enhanced the app design by displaying multiple images in a scrollable list. I've created an array of image URLs, all from the Picsum API. Then we used a for each loop. We can dynamically load each image into an async image. This works beautifully with ScrollView, giving us a smooth, scrollable UI. One of the best parts about Async Image is its built-in caching. Once an image is fetched, it's stored locally, reducing redundant network calls. If you want even more control, you can use a custom URL session or integrate third-party libraries like SD-WebImage, SwiftUI, but for most cases, Async Image handles caching perfectly. So just to summarize, use Async Image for fetching remote images with minimal code. You can use, this kind of website if you want to do some testing of your own. You can, put your own images in there if you have the URL too. You can handle loading, you can handle success and even failures quite easily for a very polished user experience. And you can combine Async Image with ForEach and ScrollView to build dynamic scrollable image galleries like we've done here. And the cool thing about this website is if you really wanted to, like I have these set to the ID, but you can actually just get random scrollable pictures every single time. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe for more tutorials and let me know in the comments what you'd build with Async Image. Otherwise, dream big, code bigger, and we'll see you next time.